Hi, this is Rudy Jones. Welcome to the South Carolina College Baseball Recap for Friday, April the 24th. Of course, it's already Saturday, April the 25th, but it was a busy night, a lot of things going on. There were 31 games involving state teams played on Friday. Let's take a look at what was going on. Down in Charleston, Michael Gibson got two of the Citadel's 3 hits and pitched the final 2 1/3 innings to get the save as the Bulldogs edged UNC Greensboro by a score of 2-1 in the opener of the Southern Conference Series at Joe Riley Park. The Bulldogs improved to 20-21 overall, 5-8 in the SoCon. UNCG fell to 15-27 and 2-11. Also for the Bulldogs, Will Holmes got the win. He went 6 2/3 innings, allowed 2 hits, a run, and struck out 9. Down in Columbia, South Carolina hit 4 home runs, but had to survive some wacky goings-on to beat Kentucky 10-9 in the opener of their SEC series. The Gamecocks pitchers allowed 8 walks, a hit batsman, and there were 3 errors in support of them, or lack of support, I guess you would say, in the game. Carolina gave up a run on the top of the first, scored 5 runs in the bottom of the first, including a grand slam by Ethan Lozama after the first 3 batters reached. Carolina eventually got another run, but they gave it right back up in the top of the second, 4 runs. Amp Phillips, the starter, could not throw it over the plate, and it was just like that the whole way. Tyler Bach made a couple of outstanding defensive plays for the Gamecocks, and Kentucky had the bases loaded in the 9th. What could have been the 3rd out of the game was the grounder to second base. Eric Parker got the ball, threw it to Logan Sutter, who was playing at first base, and he touched the wrong bag. He touched the batter's safety bag over there, and so that kept the game going. But Parker Marlock came in, got the final out, and the Gamecocks escaped by the skin of their teeth. USC is now 21-22 overall, 6-13 in the SEC. Kentucky fell to 26-14 and 8-11, and the Wildcats, I believe, have lost 4 straight. One thing you might note that the Gamecocks have got 6 wins in SEC play this year. That's how many they got last year under Paul Maneri in 31 games. And so Maneri was 6-29 in his tenure at USC. Monty Lee right now is 6-9 in his SEC tenure there. But anyway, Game 2 of that series has moved up to 1 o'clock from 4 o'clock because of weather concerns. And won't we all be wanting some nice wet weather for a while just so it doesn't mess up the games. Down in Conway, Luke Jones struck out 6 and allowed 2 hits and 6 shutout innings. And number 9 Coastal Carolina beat Texas State in the opener of that Sun Belt Conference Series. The Chanticleers are now 29-12, 16-3 in the Sun Belt. Texas State fell to 26-16 and 9-10. For Coastal, Bryce Eastep had a single, a double, a homer, a stolen base, and he drove in 2 runs. Up in Louisville, Clemson committed 5 errors and helped Louisville beat the Tigers 13-10 in the opener of that ACC series. The game was 5-4 before Louisville scored 5 runs in the 7th to break it open. Clemson got back, cut it from to 13-10. Actually had the bases loaded in the 9th, but they could not get a couple more hits that could have tied it. With that loss, Clemson fell to 26-17, 6-13 in the ACC. They're now in 16th place in the conference. Louisville improved to 24-18 and 8-11, and I believe the Cardinals broke a 4-game losing streak. For Clemson, good game for Luke Gaffney. He was 3 for 3 with a homer, 2 walks, 3 runs scored, and 2 RBI. Elsewhere, Cam Mallow's sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 9th gave Presbyterian a walk-off 6-5 win over Radford in the opener of their Big South Conference Series. For the Blue Hose, they improved to 10-33 overall and 6-10 in the Big South. Radford fell to 19-19 and 7-9. For PC, Amon Dewberry was had a double, a homer, and scored 2 runs, and Emory Guilford also had a nice game for PC Friday night. Wofford had a back-and-forth game against Mercer in a Southern Conference Series, but Chris Katz's 2-run single in the 11th inning gave Mercer a 9-8 walk-off win over the Terriers down in Macon in the opener of that series. The Bears are now 30-12 overall, 5-5 in the SoCon. Wofford is in first place in the SoCon. They fell to 30-12 and 8-10. Wofford scored a run in the 10th to take the lead, but Mercer tied it up. Wofford scored another run in the 11th to go ahead, but then Cox got his big hit for the Bears. Also for Wofford, we had Brady Gold had 3 hits and scored a couple of times. Also in Division I play involving state teams, Titus Van Kopf pitched into the 8th inning as Charleston Southern took Game 1 of a Big South Conference Series at UNC Asheville. Final score was 12-2. The Buccaneers improved to 23-17 overall, 8-8 in the Big South. UNCA fell to 16-16 and 4-9 for the Buccaneers. Blake Edgman had a double, a homer, a walk. He scored 2 runs and drove in 2 runs in that game up at Greenwood Field in Asheville. Campbell had 4 doubles and 4 home runs and just blitzed College of Charleston 16-1 in 7 innings to open that Coastal Athletic Association series. The Campbells improved to 27-14 overall, 18-4 in the CAA. Charleston fell to 20-21 and 10-9. For the college, Reese Holbrook continued to hit well. He had a single, a walk, and a run scored in that 7-inning game. 3 solo home runs and a complete game by Oliver Ellison lifted Gardner-Webb to a 3-0 win over Winthrop in the opener of that Big South Conference Series. The Bulldogs are now 19-23 overall, 7-9 in the Big South. Winthrop fell to 27-15 and 10-3. High Point had a non-conference series with VMI this week, and I don't know if Winthrop might have fallen percentage points behind the Panthers for first place or not. Didn't get a chance to check. And in the final action involving Division I teams in the state, Sanford put up crooked numbers in the first 3 innings of Game 1 to hold off USC Upstate 7-5, and then took Game 2 by a score of 6-1 down in Birmingham to extend the Spartans' losing streak to 8 games. Sanford is now 22-19. USC Upstate fell to 19-25. For the Spartans, Wiley Waters had a couple of hits, including a double, drove in 2 runs in Game 1. And in Game 2, Jack Gibson pitched 3 shutout innings in relief, and he struck out 4 batters. In other divisions, in Division 2, Skylar Hegler singled, doubled twice, and homered to drive in 5 runs as North Greenville won Game 1 over Emmanuel by a score of 12-10. They held off a late rally by the Lions in the 8th and 9th innings. And then in Game 2, they blitzed Emmanuel by a score of 16-3. And they wrapped up the regular season championship in Conference Carolinas as well as the top seed in the Conference Carolinas tournament. The Trailblazers have won 17 straight games. 17. I don't know if you heard me say 70. 17. They're now 42-7 overall, 28-4 in the conference. Emmanuel fell to 20-28 and 15-17. And if you're looking, I just noticed I called them the Crusaders in my write-up. I'll get that fixed. Thomas Powell had 3 hits in each game for North Greenville. And in Game 2, C.J. Dean homered twice for the Trailblazers. They're really rolling along as they get ready to go into the conference tournament. Charlie Bussey III, 6-inning single, broke a tie. And Francis Marion held off King in Game 1. Then they blew past the Tornadoes in Game 2. Game 1 score was 4-2. Game 2 score was 15-8. The Patriots are now 39-10 overall, 26-6 in the conference, and King is 13-35 and 10-22. For Francis Marion, Owen Powell went 3 2/3 innings on the mound in Game 1. He allowed a hit, struck out 2. And in Game 2, Brandon Vargas was 3 for 4 with a double, a triple, a 3-run score, and 4 RBI. By the way, Charlie Bussey III scored 3 runs in the nightcap. He's now scored 97 runs in 49 games. Not too shabby. Elsewhere in the Peach Belt, regular season champ North Georgia scored 4 runs in the 9th inning to tie the score after they'd been shut out through 8. Then they got 2 runs in the 11th, and beat USC Aiken by a score of 6-4 down at Roberto Hernandez Stadium in Aiken. The Nighthawks, coached by former South Carolina player Nolan Belcher, are 39-11, 25-3 in the Peach Belt. Aiken fell to 34-14 and 19-9. Zach Cowart's 10th inning double gave Lander the lead, and the Bearcats held on to beat St. Leo in Game 1 of a doubleheader. That score was 10-8, and the Bearcats completed a sweep in Game 4 with a 5-4 win as Oliver Zahn scored on a wild pitch in that game to give the Bearcats the lead. Lander's now 30-18. They have won 8 straight. St. Leo fell to 22-21. Also for Lander, Cooper Backman went 3 for 5 with a double, a run scored, and 3 RBI in the opener. And Zahn had a single, a double, a homer, a walk, 3 runs scored, and 2 RBIs, and of course scored that winning run in the nightcap. Also in the Peach Belt Conference, we have my mind's gone blank. Middle Georgia used a pair of big innings to beat USC Beaufort by a score of 15-10. The Knights improved to 17-21. 31 overall, 10-18 in the conference. Beaufort fell to 12-32 and 4-24. For Beaufort, Noah Campbell was 3 for 4 with a double, a homer, and 4 RBI. And in the final game involving a Peach Belt team, former USC Beaufort player Carson Phillips had 4 hits and drove in 3 runs for Georgia College, and they run ruled Claflin by a score of 15-5 in 7 innings. The Bobcats are 20-25 overall, 12-16 in the Peach Belt. Claflin, which has lost 8 straight, is 4-34 and 1-27. In the South Atlantic Conference, some excitement down in Hartsville. Matthew Lipsey's 2-run single in the 9th inning provided a walk-off win for Coker over Tusculum. That final score was 14-13. The Cobras trailed 7-0 after 2.5 innings, then came back and got it and then got close enough to make that rally to win. Coker's now 13-32 overall, 10-21 in the conference. They tied Tusculum at 10-21 in the conference. The Pioneers are 16-31 overall. And for Coker, Luke Miller was 3 for 4 with a walk, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. Nick Foster doubled twice and drove in 4 runs as Newberry took Game 1 of a doubleheader at Mars Hill. That score was 13-4, but the Lions came back and took the nightcap 6-4. Now, with that result, Newberry is 26-23 overall, 18-14 in the conference. Mars Hill is 26-22-1 and 19-12-1. Elsewhere, Tanner McCammon hit 2 homers, and Wingate beat Anderson by a score of 10-4 to open that South Atlantic Conference Series up in Wingate, North Carolina. The Bulldogs of Wingate are now 33-15, 23-8 in the conference. Anderson fell to 23-24 and 10-21. Elsewhere, Brady Jeffcoat and Lane Schrader hit 2-run homers in Game 1 for Spartanburg Methodist as they swept Montreat in Appalachian Athletic Conference play. The Game 1 score was 4-3. Game 2 score was 8-7. In that Game 2, the Pioneers scored 6 runs in the 7th inning to tie it up, and then Blake Exizian, easier for me, Exizian, I think, hit a homer in the 7th inning to give them the lead, and they held on to win. The Pioneers 6 straight games. They're now 25-21 in the overall, 16-10 in the AAC. Montreat fell to 30-19 and 13-13. Also, Benedict scored 7 runs over the final 3 innings to beat Miles 14-9 in the opener of an SIAC doubleheader. But the Golden Bears scored 5 runs in the first inning and rolled on to a 9-4 win in the nightcap. With that result, Benedict fell to 20-11 overall, 18-11 in the SIAC. Morris is now 20-21 and 13-18. Beyond the border, in the ACC, Duke evens this series with number 2 North Carolina 3-1. That was the same score the Heels won by on Thursday. Number 3 Georgia Tech held off Wake Forest 6-5. Stanford scored 4 runs in the 5th and beat number 8 Florida State 4-3. Pitt edged number 10 Virginia 7-5. Notre Dame blasted number 22 Boston College 12-2. Virginia Tech blanked NC State 4-0, and California blasted Miami 9-4. Well, how about the ACC standings? Georgia Tech's now 17-5, and with the loss, North Carolina fell a game and a half back. The Tar Heels are 16-7. Florida State is 12-7. Boston College is 14-8. Virginia is 12-9. Miami's 10-9. Wake Forest is 11-11. NC State's at 9-10. Virginia Tech is at 10-12. Pitt, Louisville, and Stanford are at 8-11. Duke is at 9-14. California is at 7-12. Notre Dame is at 8-14, and with that loss tonight, we're back in 16th place in the ACC at 6-13. In the SEC, number 21 Florida turned back number 7 Texas A&M 9-2. Number 11 Auburn held off number 14 Oklahoma 6-4. Number 4 Texas handled Vanderbilt 11-4. Number 24 Arkansas shut out Missouri 6-0. Tennessee swept a doubleheader from number 13 Alabama 10-0 and 11-4. Number 15 Mississippi State rallied to tie LSU in the 9th and won it in 11 innings on a walk-off homer 10-8. Number 5 Georgia and number 17 Ole Miss were rained out on Friday. They'll try to play 2 on Saturday. In the SEC standings, Georgia's now at 13-5. Texas A&M is 12-6. They're a game back. Texas A&M is at 13-6. They're actually a half game back. Auburn's at 11-8. Florida is at 11-8, as is Mississippi State. Arkansas is at 11-9. Oklahoma's at 10-9. Ole Miss is at 10-8. Alabama's at 10-11. Tennessee's at 10-11. Vandy's at 9-10. Kentucky's at 8-11. LSU and South Carolina are tied for 15th at 6-13, and Missouri is at 3-17. In D1 baseball top 25 rankings, number 1 UCLA scored a run in the bottom of the 8th to make it 5-4, and they scored 2 runs in the 9th to beat Stanford 6-5 in a walk-off win. And number 20 Nebraska fell to Illinois 20-10. How about the schedule for Saturday, April the 25th? Again, there have been several changes to the schedule. You want to make sure you look and see what the games are. There may even be some more changes in the morning. You'll just have to wait and see what's going on. If you want baseball with breakfast, Erskine and Young Harris are playing at 8 o'clock over in Young Harris, Georgia. Charleston Southern at UNC Asheville has an 11 o'clock game. That was moved up from later in the day. Georgia College and Claflin play a doubleheader at noon at Monroe Field in Orangeburg. Lander goes for a series sweep at St. Leo at noon. North Georgia and USC Aiken are playing at noon. They moved that game up a couple of hours. Tusculum is at Coker for a doubleheader at 1. Anderson's at Wingate for a doubleheader at 1. Benedict is at Miles at 1 o'clock. In Region 10 junior college play, Florence Darlington Tech is at USC Union for a doubleheader at 1. They play at the ballpark in Jonesville. Francis Marion is at King at 1 o'clock going for a Conference Carolina sweep. Also, Kentucky's at South Carolina at 1. They moved that game up from 4 because of weather concerns. Morris is at Johnson and Wales for a doubleheader at 1. North Granville goes for a series sweep at Emmanuel at 1. Shorter is at Southern Wesleyan for a doubleheader at 1. Southern Wesleyan still has a chance to get in the Conference Carolinas tournament, but they're going to have to win both games and hope some other things happen. Elsewhere, Sparkman Methodist is at Montreat going for a series sweep. USC Lancaster is at Gaston College for a doubleheader at 1. USC Salcahatchee is at USC Sumter for a doubleheader at 1 at Riley Park. Campbell's at College of Charleston at 2. Middle Georgia is at USC Beaufort at 2. Texas State is at Coastal Carolina at 2. UNC Greensboro and the Citadel play at 2 at the Joe. Wofford's at Mercer at 2 o'clock. Radford's at Presbyterian at 3. Winthrop is at Gardner-Webb at 3. And Clemson is at Louisville at 7 o'clock. Also, the HBCU Athletic Conference tournament begins on Saturday in Tuscaloosa. Voorhees, who's the number 4 seed out of the East Division, plays number 1 seed out of the West, Huston-Tillotson, at 1 o'clock Eastern Time at Tuscaloosa's River Run Park. Well, that is it for the schedule and scores. The scores for April the 24th, schedule for April 25th. You can always find out what's going on at college baseball in South Carolina at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. You can follow me on X under the handle of Palmetto Base to get in-game updates. Although I may not have quite as many tomorrow, I'm going to try to go to a game, I hope. Maybe a little bit late with my updates on the website, but I'll do my best to get it all done as quick as I can. But anyway, hope you have a great night. I hope if you need rain where you are, you get some, but it doesn't mess up your baseball watching. And for now, this is Rudy Jones of Palmetto State Baseball saying good night. Jesus loves you.